All right, so this is a real-time reaction to Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. This is the worst match on the card for sure.
We don't know the rules.
This crowd is absolutely dead.
The crowd has not made a noise.
We've been chanting, "We want refunds. We want Rhea."
Where's Becky?
Becky and Trish got bumped for this match. This is an abject failure. This is the worst match of the night. This is the worst match of the night. Hands down. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm astonished.
This is up there with worst of the year.
This is unfortunate.
The next match wasn't my favorite to watch either. It was the literal bathroom break match of the night. Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, MMA rules match. For those of us that were in Ford Field, the rules of this match were not explained to us in any way.
Never.
Yeah, but what the rules were basically pass out, knock out, tap out, something along those lines. Those are the only ways to win.
Which was weird because it was a MMA match, right?
Yep.
And you've watched MMA before.
I have.
When was the last time you saw a ref do a standing 10 count in an MMA match?
I have zero recollection of one.
So what, like, I don't even think they knew what the rules were. Like, there were trainers in the ring and Ronda threw the trainers. That's not an MMA. That's wrestling.
Yeah. Yes. This was a worked MMA. It
wasn't good.
Vince McMahon's idea of what MMA is. And what's super unfortunate is they're about to complete a merger with the MMA juggernaut, and in an advertised MMA rules match, they couldn't get an MMA referee to work. Again, while I've watched MMA, I'm not an MMA fan per se. I mean, I'll watch it if I'm invited to go check it out, or if I'm at a bar and it's on. Yeah, sure, I'll get into it. But imagine what you could have done if it was like, yo, we'll bring in Herb Dean. He will officiate this match. That would have been a little something extra to give us just some sense of belief that it has MMA rules, especially if you are a wrestling fan that just does not care for MMA at all. This was not going to be your cup of tea. And I mean, when after Ronda's music hit, people were up in droves going to the bathroom.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a lot of people.
My brother went to the bathroom during that match.
So did my wife.
Yeah. So it's like,
yeah,
okay,
the junkies, the wrestling junkies were the only ones there, and that's nothing against those two. But those two come in as casual fans.
Yeah.
And you lost the casual fans right there. Because they don't know what's going on. Everybody's quiet. So they're like, this is obviously not important, so I'm going to go.
Yeah.
That's what it conveyed.
And they weren't even getting booed. They were getting no reaction.
Nothing.
At least if you're getting a crowd to boo you, you're doing something right. But there
were some pockets. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Absolutely. I've been long-winded here. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say there were pockets of this is boring. There were a couple pockets of we want Rhea, and I feel bad for those two because they really put a lot into that match. They really thought that match out. I haven't watched that one back. I will go watch it back. The rules didn't make sense. It only lasted 7.5 minutes.
It felt like an hour.
And like you said, it was nothing. The crowd, the biggest pop for that match was when it was over. And I don't think they would have cared who won. Yeah. It was over.
And especially because they were both heels going into that match. And there was
nobody who knew who to cheer for.
Exactly. It's easy to want to get behind Shayna because, she's, at least from what we know, going to be the one that sticks around with WWE after this match. So you would have thought that, okay, let's put some investment into her. And, I've got an idea on what I think would help her character and what they do with her on TV. But, before I go into that, I did watch this match back. That silence felt worse on TV. I mean, and we were there, but it was physically uncomfortable to watch.
And I want to go back to your previous point of we don't know who to cheer for. Like Ronda wanted to touch the gloves and Shayna did. So that is to me WWE saying Shayna's the heel. But we all wanted to see Ronda lose.
Yeah.
So I don't the video package was great. The execution of the match didn't work. It just didn't. I think if you go to a wrestling show, I want to see a wrestling match, or at least if you're going to give me this weird MMA, like make it a fight pit or, a lion's den or something along the lines of that. It was just not. And you and I kind of reiterated it that Trish and Becky were left off this for this, which doesn't make sense.
If I'm those two, I'd have to be seething, especially if I saw if I'm them and I saw that that's what we were bumped for, I'd be pissed.
Even at 7.5 minutes, they would have been better.
Yeah, I can understand Ronda wanting to put over Shayna on the way out if she's indeed leaving, because they're good friends. It is what it is. I can understand if that's something that she wants to do to try to use.
If you wanted, they could have done that at Mania, sign an extension. Like, I know you want to take a break and go away. If you really, really want to put over your friend and make her a big deal, you didn't do it.
My thing is, I just don't think that Ronda Rousey wants to be in WWE anymore. Not that we've heard anything, as far as why, reasons for leaving, but it's just very rarely do we hear, oh, so-and-so's contract's expiring. This person has a hard out date to where they have to be done or want to be done. And that little caveat ruined this feud because they hot-shotted it, and it just didn't work. And it's unfortunate because Shayna's awesome. I think she's still trying to recapture the momentum of Elimination Chamber and biting Becky Lynch in the neck, her debut. And now it's just tough to care about her because of how she's been presented. I mean, if they took the person that we see on Up, Up, Down, Down, and she's just cracking skulls, that's a compelling character right there because she's being herself. Let her inject her personality into that character. And I think that we would get something so much more interesting. I mean, if you let that Shayna Baszler grow as a performer, warm her up for Rhea. Rhea needs a strong challenger. That could be a great one. It's, for whatever reason, they want to keep her as the strong, silent, just mercenary, for lack of a better word, but it didn't work here, and she's probably going to go right back to doing the same thing after this.
And the worst part about it is they sacrificed the NXT Tag Team Champions for this, Elsa Dawn and Alba Fire. We haven't seen them since.
Yeah, creative has nothing for you, pal.
And it almost felt like unneeded. Like, they didn't even need the tag team title run. Like, if Shayna would have turned on her in a tag title match, that would have been a little bit more understandable. But the fact that it came out of nowhere, they had been teaming they had a match at Mania together. Like, you could tell the story there, and then maybe they could have had a match at Money in the Bank and then have this big blow off at SummerSlam. That would have made more sense. But you sacrificed the tag team champions for this. Now, they're nothing again. It doesn't.
They weren't even on the card.
No. Why would they be?
Capacity.
Why would they be?
Because I'm just saying, when you think about the things that they could have done with that 7.5 minutes.
Yeah. Anything.
Anything else would have been better than that match. I feel for Shayna. I feel for Ronda, just because that is never a position you want to be in, is to get no reaction at all. If you're getting cheered or you're getting booed, you're doing something.
It was silent.
There was no reaction in that building. It was worse on television. That was probably the worst WWE match of the year, unfortunately.
What's next for Shayna? Do we get any type of follow-up tonight?
I don't think that we do.
Do we even see her tonight?
We might.
I'm almost at the point where
I don't know.
We might not even see her. With how bad that reception was, reception to that match was, I don't know if we'll see her.
I certainly wouldn't put her in a promo segment of any kind. If she has a match, she has a match. But
who's she going to go
after? Wouldn't have any build to it.
Because it's not Rhea.
I know, but obviously not. But I just.
And I can't think of a baby face that she would go after right now. Becky's with Trish.
Yeah. I mean, unless you bring in, like Candice or Indy or something like that, just a throwaway kind of one-off match.
Okay.
Which I mean, you're asking me what you think is going to be next. I mean, but that's the thing is I don't see anything. But if you are saying, for the sake of this hypothetical, we're putting her on TV.
Yeah.
Those are some of the people I could think of, just because it'd be easy fodder for her to get a win. But even if she's on TV tonight, I don't think that we'll see her again next week.
Like maybe
I think it'd be just kind of the bookend to follow up SummerSlam and then back to what she's normally doing.
She could be doing some quick squashes to kind of build up her brand again. I don't know. It's disappointing. Rating this match, it's a half a star.
Yeah. And I think that's even being generous. It was an objectively bad match. The execution was flawed. There was nothing redeeming about any of it.
Nope. And it
I think
sucks
we spent longer on this match than they actually were in the ring.